Canon iGaming says how to speed up the content that I create or the quantity. When I think about the process of gathering resources, research, editing, thumbnail, I am lost. Okay, so this is one of those situations, Canon iGaming, where practice makes perfect. So one of the things that that's important to consider is if you're just getting started and you are, putting out content and you're like, man, I'm making thumbnails, I'm making videos, I'm editing those videos, I'm getting them up to YouTube and doing keyword research. There's a lot of steps. There's a lot of stuff and it takes a lot of time, right? But when you are doing this whole thing, you have to think to yourself like, okay, I'm just getting started. Just like when I first got, a new operating system, like you're sitting there and you're having to figure out like where everything's at and it takes you longer to do stuff because you just haven't done it before. Once you start doing, once you practice more, you're going to get better at it. You're going to get faster. You're going to find little systems, little shortcuts that will help speed everything up. But let's just talk about specifically how you can do that. Maybe I can shortcut some of that for you. So when it comes to speeding up the content that you create or the quantity, let's think about the process that you're taking here. And I'm basing this off of your comment. So in terms of gathering resources, batch it. So batch it. So what I mean by that is instead of thinking like I'm making one video at a time, think, okay, these are the videos that I want to make. So when I'm researching content, when I'm gathering resources, I'm going to also keep an eye out for resources and research that I can do for the next like 2 or 3 videos so that I can just go ahead and start dropping those into a folder as I'm finding those as well, which is going to shortcut the time when I start, looking for the research stuff on those particular videos as well, because I already have some of the assets that I'm going to use for the video in place or in folders for that. When it comes to editing, start using templates, start paying really close attention to how you're recording your videos. When you're recording your videos, if possible, the type of content that you make, record for the edit. And what I mean by that is when you're putting your content together and you're recording the actual content, think of it from the standpoint of like, okay, when I'm editing this, how is this going to slow me down? Or is this going to speed me up? Am I putting like a lot of dead space here? So for example, if I'm doing a screen recording, right? Because I'm putting together a video on like step-by-step how to get views with TubeBuddy. And with that particular video, there's some parts in there to where, there's some space to where I'm waiting for things to load and, things like that. And because of that, to make the screen recording easier, because I'm editing the screen recording before I pass it off. And when I am editing the screen recording, I need to be able to identify quickly, like where are those dead spots. So one thing that I'll do is I'll clap, bam. And then when I clap, then in addition to seeing the dead spot in the waveform, I will see that spike as well. So instead of having to look through the waveform and look for that dead spot, I'm just looking for the spike because that stands out more than anything else. So then I just go straight to the spike. I know I have to cut there, so I cut, and then I make any adjustments, and then I slide everything together, and then I move on. And by doing that, it helps me cut out those dead spaces super quick. So little things like that is what you have to think of when you're recording your content. Like, how can I give myself little cues in the content so that when I'm editing the content, I can get through everything a little bit faster. And then, of course, using templates if possible. So if you have any type of graphics that you use in your videos, any common elements, let's say it's an intro song, let's say it's like backing tracks. Let's say that you have like a certain, 2 or 3 different backing tracks that you bounce between for, like the buildup of your video when it's first starting or when it's ending or whatever. Let's say you have your end screen in there. Let's say you have a lower third that comes up and it shows your name, kind of like I have this thing right here. Then in that situation, what you can do is you can make one template file in your video editing software, save that in its own folder, call it template. And then before you edit any videos, copy and paste that folder, name it the name of your video, open it up, name the file the name of your video, and then open that up. And then you already have some music choices in there. You already have your end screen in there. You have your lower third in there. If you're somebody that uses an intro, you have that in there. Any other supporting graphics, countdown numbers, things like that, you've already got that in there. So then all you have to do is you have to just bring the video content and you just move things around as you're, going through the editing process instead of having to go, where's my intro? Let me get these songs. Let me, go into this folder, click into that folder, grab my end screen, right? So it just speeds up the process that way because you already have everything put together. So those are some things that you can do when it comes to speeding up your process. Hopefully that helped. For tools and resources to help you with your YouTube channel, make sure you check the links in the description of this video. And to have your question answered live, join us Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern.